It's David Alorka here, back again with the one and only legendary Mr. Eddie Hearn in New York. It's fight week. We're back in the Big Apple. This is not just another day at the office, is it?
Well, you was there at Empire State Building. I mean, have you ever seen so much media for a fight? They're lighting up the Empire State Building with the Irish and Puerto Rican flags on Saturday night in honour of Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. This is not just the biggest female fight of all time, one of the biggest fights of all time. Roll on Saturday night and then roll on Canelo Bivol, of course. Are you going to both?
No, not yet.
You're working on it?
Yeah, I'm working on it. We're working on it. Talk to me. Obviously, this fight is a huge historic moment. How does it rank in your career?
It's right up there. You know, I said it feels sometimes as big as AJ against Klitschko and Canelo against Saunders for different reasons. Now, there are massive fights in boxing, but this is kind of like a historic moment that will be remembered for a long, long time. And I just feel that, you know, this is a fight that can inspire a next generation. This is a fight that can break down barriers and boundaries, but it's a really good fight. Like, it's the Mayweather-Pacquiao of women's boxing. The undisputed champion, 7-division world champion, but both girls in their prime, I feel. And I think you're going to get a tremendous fight.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, obviously, you've been spending some good time with Katie ahead of the fight. How was she feeling ahead of the fight, and how are you feeling about her stepping in?
I'm excited. I mean, this is what she's all about. You know, this is the platform, the moment that you know Katie Taylor excels in. I'm actually going for a Katie Taylor stoppage in this fight. You know, and that's quite unique because, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, a pick that many would choose. Most going for Serrano by stoppage or Taylor on points. I'm going for a Katie Taylor late stoppage. She looks ready. She looks fired up, pumped up, sharp, spiteful. And I think she's going to want to make a statement in front of the world on Saturday.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, you know, there's a lot of people that have spoken about her previous fights and the performances in those. What makes you know or be so confident about the fact that she's going to raise her game?
Because I think she raises her game against the opposition. And Amanda Serrano is, you know, a standout pound for pound great in women's boxing. And she knows, Katie knows, she's got to be at her very best. But this is what she does. You know, she's at her best on these stages, in these moments. And I just believe you're going to get the very best Katie Taylor on Saturday.
Absolutely. Now, talk to me about the threat that Amanda Serrano does pose, especially for the British audience that may not have seen too much of her.
Huge puncher, very smart, educated pressure, southpaw, tough. She's got everything. You know, she's fluctuated through the weight classes from 118 pounds to 140 pounds. She's going to have a lot of Puerto Rican support at MSG on Saturday. There's going to be a lot of Irish in there as well. And, you know, it's going to be a compelling fight. But these are the top two female pound-for-pound fighters in the world, in my opinion. And it's just amazing to see it all come together.
At the mecca of boxing. Now, obviously, last weekend we saw DILLIAN WHYTE take on Tyson Fury. What was your thoughts on that fight?
I thought it was a great knockout. I thought it was quite a dull fight. But Tyson did all the things I expected him to do. Hold, you know, tie him up, box him on the outside. He boxed the right fight to beat DILLIAN WHYTE. I think DILLIAN will kick himself a little bit because we didn't really see, you know, and I know he's a lot older now, but we really didn't see the DILLIAN WHYTE that we saw. Like, I feel like if we saw the DILLIAN WHYTE we saw in the AJ fight, that rugged, horrible, I didn't like the stuff at the weigh-in with the tickling and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, DILLIAN, come back. We need DILLIAN WHYTE here. And he tried in the fight, and it was a bit rough, but I feel like Tyson sort of befriended him a little bit in the build-up, and DILLIAN will say that I was getting into it or things were starting to turn. I didn't give him many rounds at all in the fight, and he was pushed over, but he was also hurt very badly with the uppercut, and it was a great finish and a good win for Tyson Fury.
Absolutely, it's incredible how when a fight happens, you start looking back over the press conferences and the weigh-ins, and you start picking up on things.
It wasn't even looking back; it was at that moment. When Tyson Fury started tickling him and he started patting him and giving him a cuddle, no, I don't like this. Yeah. Because that's what Tyson Fury, he's doing that for a reason. And the reason he's doing it is because he knows DILLIAN WHYTE's a handful and he don't want him to have that mentality when he gets in the ring. It was all very respect, you know, good luck, hug. We don't need that from DILLIAN WHYTE. DILLIAN WHYTE is a ruthless motherfucker. And that's what we needed in that night. And he can talk about tactics and this and that, but I think that's what was missing. Cut off the ring and let your hands go, hit him everywhere. You know, Xavier Miller was giving him some good advice in the corner, I felt, but he couldn't move his feet. And again, like, it's also easy to say, And this goes for the AJ Usyk fight as well. Oh, you've got to be more aggressive. You've got to cut the ring off. You've got to let your hands go. Yeah. It's very difficult to do that against fighters that don't allow you to do that. Yeah. And Tyson Fury and Usyk are two guys that are very good at frustrating you and movement and offsetting you. So Dillian White was beaten by the better man, and we move on.
Absolutely. And you say we move on. I take it you're going to be working with Dillian again.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, look, we've had a great run together. I'd love to have other fights with him. He's always going to be in entertaining fights. There's Andy Ruiz, there's Deontay Wilder, there's Luis Ortiz. There's so many great fights to be made, and I'm sure he'll have a nice rest, count his money, and then see what the future holds. Absolutely.
Now, what is it right about boxing right now that once a fighter loses, everybody's like, oh yeah, he should probably pack it in now? Or why is that? Why is that the norm in this day and age?
I just think people look at it and go, well, he's earned a lot of money. You know, he got knocked out, call it a day. It's like even when AJ lost to Usyk, it's like, he should call it a day now. It's like, are you joking? He's like 30 years old. He just lost to the pound for pound number 2 in the sport. Pack it in. You know, so I don't know. But I don't believe Dillian White will. I don't believe Tyson Fury will. You know, the biggest fights for Tyson Fury are ahead of him, I think. And hopefully we can see him in them.
Absolutely. Obviously, we've got AJ in action again. Talk is about back end of July. How's that looking and how's that shaping up?
Yeah, good. We're getting there. I mean, we get asked about it all the time. July is when the Usyk AJ fight will happen. We're finalising the venue and hope to give you an announcement soon.
Absolutely. And how's AJ ahead of that?
Fired up, pumped up, fired up. Honestly, ready to fight. Really excited to fight. I can't wait to see him in that fight, and I believe he's going to prove a lot of people wrong.
Fantastic. I'm going to talk slightly about Conor Benn as well. Obviously, you're shaping up. I saw you had a nice meeting with him a little while ago. How's that preparation for who he's got coming next?
Good. I mean, he's only been a week out from his last fight, and he wants to go in there again. So we're looking at making a nice fight for him in July. Said the names we want. He needs to step up. Like, he's demolishing this opposition. People want to see him in bigger fights, and that's what they'll get. But they'll also get the right fight, the right progression, because this kid is a superstar. You know, he's only 25. Show me another kid of that age who's got the ability to sell out arenas and do numbers that Conor Benn has. No one. So let him do his thing, but let's step it up and let's give the fans what they want.
Absolutely. And then obviously you said you're announcing a lot more stuff in the US as well, coming up soon. Any names that we can look up?
Yeah, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, we just announced tonight, will fight Rungvisai. Julio Cesar Martinez back against Arroyo. Jessica McCaskill will defend their undisputed championship. Ahmad Liev against Rios. It's a world championship triple header, June 25th in San Antonio. Another fight in Mexico announced June 10. We've got a big show in Cardiff to be announced June 4th. I don't know where I am, but we're in New York, and then we're in Vegas next week, and we're living the fucking dream, Dave.
Come on, absolutely. Listen, David Alorka back with the one and only Mr. Eddie Hearn. What a week we got on our hands.